The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning, he came again to the temple. All the people came to him, and he sat down and began to teach them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery. And making her stand before all of them, they said to him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now, in the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. What do you have to say?" They said this to test him, so that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let anyone among you who is without sin be the first to cast a stone at her." And once again he bent down and wrote on the ground. When they heard it, they went away, one by one, beginning with the elders. And Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus straightened up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She said, "No one, sir." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go your way, and from now on, do not sin again." The Gospel of the Lord. Well, it's good to be back with you. I had shingles, of all things. Even though I had the vaccination, still got them. But they say that it's less severe if you had the vaccination, so that's good. But I went to the doctor a week ago, Friday, and he diagnosed it, and he said, "You're contagious. You shouldn't be in public. You shouldn't be with people." And I thought, he said, "No, I'm serious. And I could not give you the shingles, but I could have given you chicken pox if you hadn't had them or weren't immune to them for some reason." But now that period has passed, and I'm no longer contagious, so hello, everybody. It's good to be back with you. I called Father Steve. I called Father Steve Linsnick from the parking lot of the doctor's office at about noon on Friday and said, "Can you take my place this weekend?" And thank God he was free and he was able to do this. So it was nice to have him here. I was observing Mass from up in the choir loft last week, far away from everybody. But it's just good to be back with you. Now, I got medication. The shingles are starting to disappear. They're slowly, but I had it from the top of my head to the roof of my mouth, which was not pleasant. And the only lasting effect, I think, is, at least the present effect, is that I'm a bit uglier than I was. Which reminds me of a story. There was this politician who wanted a nice picture, a portrait made of himself, so that he could splash it around and hopefully get votes. And he thought he was pretty handsome, but he vastly overestimated his good looks. And when he got the proof back from the photographer, he looked at that and said, "Oh, that doesn't look like me. This picture does not do me justice." And the photographer looked at him and said, "Sir, with a face like yours, you don't need justice. You need mercy." And speaking of mercy, we get to today's gospel, because Jesus had mercy on the woman caught in adultery. And for various reasons, people wanted to trap Jesus. Between those who said according to the law of Moses, she must be stoned. But the Romans wouldn't let anybody let the Jews have the death penalty, so they couldn't do that. And so Jesus was caught. And it's kind of like today. There are those who like to stick to the law no matter what, to black and white, to clear answers, to clarity of life. And others say have mercy. Jesus stuck with mercy. Pope Francis sticks with mercy. We have a Jubilee year of mercy. And so Jesus says, "Let anyone who's without sin cast the first stone." Then he bent down to right on the ground. Some people said he bent down and kissed her in case there were any stones. And then everybody left, and you know the story, you've heard it many times, and he says, "Woman, has no one condemned you?" And she said, "No, no one." And he says, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Jesus had mercy.